We have traveled all over Kenya and East Africa to find hard-working farmers.
We want to celebrate them while giving them the knowledge they need to improve their farms,
get better yields,
and become profitable farmers. We will see how farmers across the region can learn from experts and from each other in every way.
Join us and our experts on this journey
and share their families' experiences as they make these changes.
Karibu to the Shamba Shape Up Safari.
Hello!
Welcome to Uganda.
Today we are in Magamaga West Village
in Buege Sub-County in Jinja Town. Uganda is a great place to be a farmer with good soil and plenty of rain.
Here we meet John Muyundike. John lives here with his wife and son who help him around the farm.
The family have cows, pigs, many laying chickens and a few different crops on the 1-acre shamba. They work very hard to make all of this successful.
After seeing how hard they work, we wanted to give them a little help. Who better to do that than our own team of experts?
So we pitched up and got down to business.
Shamba Shape Up!
Joy and John, we are very happy to be here in your farm. How big is your shamba, John?
1 acre.
1 acre?
Yes.
And you've been farming all along?
Yes. Yes.
Joy, how long have you lived here?
24 years.
24 years. How many children do you have?
We have 7 children.
7? But today I'm seeing 2.
Yeah, 2.
Yes. Do you enjoy farming?
I do.
You do?
Yeah.
So you help a lot on the farm? Is something else you do?
I have a government job.
You have a job.
So I use to supplement my income. Actually, the money I get from farming is more than what I get in my government job.
Oh, really?
So I enjoy it.
So, John, what do you have on your farm?
We have poultry being the main activity. Mm-hmm. We have piggery. We have cattle. And we do some matoke growing, vegetable, maize, and beans at times. Yes.
Do you have any challenges on your farm?
The challenge we have is the management. Mm-hmm. Particularly the disease handling on the farm.
There's a challenge of feeds, good feeds, because we mix our own feeds. But the problem of ingredients, good ingredients, pure, is very big. Most of it is outdated. You get fish which is rotten, you get maize bran which is caked, you get cottonseed cake which is substandard. Mm-hmm. So getting the good ingredients is a big challenge, and then that means the quality of the feeds will eventually be very, very low.
How is your maize production?
Normally we get about 5 bags of maize, so it's not quite much.
Have you ever done a soil test?
No.
No. Okay, so I think that's what we should do, Tony, right?
Yes, we start with the soil test first, and then we start bringing in all the other experts. Does that sound good?
Oh, that's very good. Thank you very much.
Let's get to work.
Yes.
The most important thing to do in any farm is to test the soil. A soil test will tell you what fertilizer to use, how much to use, and which crops you can grow. Some soils are not suitable for growing certain crops. To collect a good sample, you will need soil auger or panga. Insert the auger straight in the soil about 20 centimeters deep. Turn the auger several times to cut out the soil, then pull it out carefully.
Put the soil into a bag and take more samples from about 20 different places around the farm in a zigzag pattern from where the crops are grown.
Label the bag with your name, telephone number, size of farm, and what you want to grow. Then, take it to the lab. Soil Cares has a lab which can come to your village to make it easier for you. After 2 hours, the Soil Cares lab will give us the results. So let's take a look at the chickens.
In Uganda, poultry farming for meat and eggs can earn you a lot of money. There are good markets and, with good management, great profits to make. The chicken and eggs business is John's main source of income for the farm. He usually makes his own feeds, but wants to know if the feed have all the right ingredients for healthy, happy chickens. Let's get a feed expert in to have a look. Now, Cyrus, you've heard about Mr. John's premix and the ingredients he uses. What do you think of that premix?
Well, one, I would want to look at the real formula that he's using and how much in terms of percentages for each ingredient. One, the feed has to have a protein source, an energy source, a macro, minerals. The minerals that are required in large amounts, yes, they need to be there. Then you need to have the micro nutrients. Those are the vitamins and the trace elements. Then it needs to have the fats and oils. Now, cotton seed cake, sunflower seed cake, fish, soya cake, full fat soya provide the protein source. Maize bran, wheat bran, those provide the energy source. Then you have the premixes being now the supply of the trace elements and the minerals. As Unga, what we've done is that we've come up with the key elements in making the feed. One of the key one is a premix. Premix is a blend of trace elements and minerals that are very important for the functionability of the feed itself. Then it guarantees you optimum performance of the target animal. So that's one of the items that we supply. Once you assemble all the raw materials, then you can now design your formula based on what you have. You develop a formula for the feed based on the available raw materials. After now assembling and you have the formulas, then you grind them all together. Yeah. Then you mix. Now, at the point of mixing is when you add the premixes and the salt and those other small micro elements. So the mixing then has to be very thorough to make sure that you have a homogeneous mix, that the items that are going into the feed are spread well within the feed itself. 2.5 kilos go into a ton of feed. So then after grinding all the other bulk raw materials, then you put in this and mix thoroughly to get a homogeneous mix. Yeah. So this one provides the trace element and the vitamins. They are very important for the function of the feed. For optimum performance of the animals, then they need to have access to this. Then the other thing that we do then is to come to the farmer and talk to the farmer about their challenges and about the raw materials that they have, then design formulas to address those challenges, then to help the farmer come up with a feed with the raw materials that they have. Thirdly, we also offer free animal husbandry training, farm visits. When I come to the farm, I've been inside the farm, I must say that is really impressive. There are things that we need to talk about. Those are the things that we do. So we offer that after sales support. We go to the farms, see the production levels, see your stocking and how you are managing your farm, and address issues as they arise.
So, for good feeds you need proteins. Use cotton seed cake, sunflower seed cake, fish and soya cake. Energy, maize bran and wheat bran. You will also need macro minerals, micronutrients like vitamins. These both come from premix product. 1 to 2.5 kilograms packet is enough for 1 ton of mixed feed. For layers, use layer premix. You also need fats and oils. Cyrus had a look at John's chickens and his feeds and takes a sample to be tested in the lab. Unga can test your feed to make sure you are using the right ingredients and give you advice on improving your feeds. Put a sample of your feeds in a plastic bag and label well. Then take the sample to your nearest UNGA representative.
Okay, once the recording has been done, the samples are picked, placed in the basket, sample basket area, awaiting for analysis. The forms have to be filed for retrieval purposes.
The sample is then tested for protein, energy, vitamins, and minerals. These will tell them if anything is too little or too much. They will send you a report explaining what you need to do to improve your feeds. While the feed is being tested, another test results are in.
After having tested the soil from John's Shamba and got the results, we get an expert from Maya to come and explain what was found and to correct the situation, what fertilizer to use, and quantities. Francis, thank you so much for coming.
Well, welcome.
You've seen the results?
I have seen.
Yes, and you've seen it's not very good news.
It's not.
Everything is low.
Actually, it's not very good because I can see pH is 5. Nitrogen is very low. Phosphorus is very low. Potassium adequate, not very bad. Yes. But organic matter very low. It seems John's farm is extremely has nothing,
yes.
And he need to work very much on it so that maybe he can improve on the yields.
So what can he do? What kind of fertilizer can he use?
You need to use fertilizer that will not acidify your soil further.
John's soil pH is low, which means the soil is acidic. Acidic soils are not good for growing crops. Many fertilizers like standard DAP are acidic and can increase soil acidity. So, it is important for John to use a fertilizer with calcium to increase the pH, which means his soil will be less acidic and better for growing crops.
For the maize, we need to move to something like NPK 10, 26, 10, and the NPK 23, 23, 0, we have it there. And NPK will not add any more acidic in the soil, and mavuno mazao as well. Then, on nitrogen, you also need to do top dressing to your crops after planting, but when they are the knee height, yes. And after weeding, you use CAN fertilizer, calcium ammonium nitrate fertilizer, for top dressing.
Top dressing your maize is very important to give it the extra boost it needs. Use calcium ammonium nitrate or CAN to top dress when the soil is at knee height and again when it is tasseling. Use 50 kg of CAN per acre for top dressing or 1 spoonful per plant. So Francis, what about organic fertilizer?
Since John has some of these fertilizer within his farm, like the animal droppings, the chicken droppings, he can use them to change the status of the soil by putting those droppings in the farm. And before plowing, one, they are going to help you in water retaining capacity. Number two, they are going to change, to reverse the acidity in your soil.
So John, you don't have to sell that.
Yeah, you don't have to sell it. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Because John's soil has very little organic matter, it is not good at holding water. Applying well-rotted manure into the soil every season will help his soils hold onto water better and can also improve on the pH too. If you had acidic soil, remember you must add lime. Between 10 to 15 bags are needed for every 1 acre. He needs to use 10 tons of manure per acre according to the soil test, which shouldn't be a problem as he has a lot of manure. So now John has found out why his crops are not doing very well and how he can fix it. He can now expect to double his maize yield from 5 bags to at least 11 bags. This will pay for the fertilizers he needs and for having a soil test, leaving him with a healthy profit. And if he keeps working on his soil and testing it every 2 years, he can expect the yield to increase every year.
Naomi, we are in the land of plenty.
Oh yes, that's why we are taking an egg break. Coming up. Welcome back to Shamba Shape Up. We are still in Buenge County.
There's lots of work to be done, so let's get on with it.
Before the break, we had tested the soil and got some good advice on how to improve it.
And the top animal expert had explained what he needs to do to improve his layer feeding. Maize is a main staple food crop for most farmers. Planting and managing it is very crucial. John has planted some, but they don't look good. Lately, the maize crop has been facing an uncertain future following a fast-spreading mysterious disease known as the maize lethal necrosis. We invited Frank, an expert from Naro, to examine John's crops and tell us more about his disease and what farmers can do about it. So Frank, you've seen John's maize. What do you think of them?
Yeah, I've seen some positives and some negatives.
Let's start with the positive.
One of the positives is that he has planted on time. He has planted the same type of maize. The negatives might be quite several. Hope he's not disappointed.
Yes.
One of them is that he hasn't observed the right plant spacing. Secondly, in each hole he was putting quite a number of seeds. And thirdly, the pests have begun to attack and he has not done anything about it. Even the way the maize is looking, it seems he didn't put adequate amounts of fertilizer. Yeah.
So Frank, tell us, what's the future of maize production nowadays with so many diseases? What should farmers anticipate and how should they be able to prevent diseases in the future?
The future is great. Yeah.
Which is the main disease that is destroying maize?
Currently, when we talk of Eastern Uganda, the main disease is now the maize lethal necrosis.
Frank, what is maize lethal necrosis?
It is a disease which can wipe away a whole maize field. Actually, reports indicate that it can cause 100% yield loss of maize. If you find that your maize is stunted, that might be one of the symptoms. But should not end at that. Also look for necrosis symptoms, where you find that the leaves are trying to dry from the margins, and secondly, the leaves are also yellowing, especially the middle part of the plant, which we call the hull. If it's beginning to yellow and the margins are drying, then you know that is an indication of the maize lethal necrosis disease. The other symptom you can look at is the grain fill. If your maize has maize lethal necrosis, the grains will not be there, or they will be very, very few. And thirdly, the internals will be very short. Those are some of the key symptoms of the maize lethal necrosis. And eventually, the yield will be less than what you would have expected.
How does a farmer prevent this disease?
Unfortunately, currently we don't have any varieties which are resistant to maize lethal necrosis disease, MLND. So what the farmer needs to do is to ensure that the kind of seed he's using is certified seed. Secondly, a farmer needs to practice crop rotation. If you've planted maize this season, ensure that next season you don't plant maize in the same field. Thirdly, if you're a commercial farmer, you need to use some pesticides to ensure that you control the pests which are responsible for spreading the vectors for MLND.
Now, what are the sources, reliable sources we can get these certified seeds?
Yeah, John, if you want certified seed, we have quite a number of seed companies in Uganda. And those seed companies also have their agro-input dealers. Some of those seed companies are Fika Seed,
Yes.
which produces the long 9H.
Yes.
We also have Naseko. We can always reach out to those companies and they can recommend to us their agro-input dealers. And it's from those agro-input dealers that you can get certified seed. These ones you can find in most of the trading centers around us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Frank.
I'll show you how to ensure that you are using the correct plant spacing.
Maize lethal necrosis disease, or MLND, is a viral disease in maize and has no cure. If your maize is stunted, the leaves dry from the margins, the hull is yellowing, there is very little grain field, and the internodes are short, then your maize has MLND. If your maize has MLND, you must remove the affected plants and burn them in isolated part of the farm. If you do not, the disease will spread to the rest of your maize and to your neighbor's maize. Remember to use only certified seeds to minimize losses from pest and disease. To plant your maize, first prepare the land. Using a string, mark your rows. Ensure your spacing is 75 centimeters apart and from one hole to another 30 centimeters. If you get your spacing wrong, you lose a lot of your crop. Add a handful of farm manure and a bottle cap of fertilizer. Mix well with the soil. Plant one seed per hole and cover with soil. We used Longify seeds in John's farm, which is a quality protein maize or QPM. QPM is a healthy type of maize with high protein, which he can use for his family and for his animals to boost the feed protein. Top dress with CAN after weeding when the maize is at knee high.
Maize is not always planted alone. We encourage farmers to intercrop it with legumes. We've invited David to show him what varieties of beans he needs to plant. Well, David, you've been around the Shamba and you've noticed that Mzee here has only maize.
Yes.
So what other kind of crop would you recommend?
Yeah, many times I would recommend him to plant a legume, most especially the beans.
The beans?
The beans, yeah.
Why the bean?
Beans are important in Uganda because of a number of reasons. One, they are an important food crop. They are the main source of proteins for the farmers in this community or in Uganda. And they are also important for cash. The farmer can get money from selling the beans. Okay, they are so much sought for. And they are also important in that, being legumes, they also add nitrogen in the soil because they have a special facility in the roots, right, which can help in the fixing of nitrogen in the soil. So in a case where farmers have soils which are not very fertile, the bean crop is very important in rejuvenating that soil with nitrogen.
And what kind of seeds? What are there particular seeds?
The ones that I would recommend for this area would be K132, and there's another one called Nabe 15, which of course they have a local name, they call it Kanyebwa, but that is the Nabe 15. So those two varieties are the ones that I would recommend him to grow because they're high yielding and they have been proven to be disease resistant.
David shows John how to plant the beans. We use K132, which is a good variety for this area. We made rows between the maize rows. Each row should be 45 centimeters to 50 centimeters, that is 1.5 feet apart. Make holes 15 centimeters apart. Add 10 grams or 1 bottle cap of fertilizer and mix with the soil. Then add 1 bean in each hole and cover with soil. If you use a little nitrogenous fertilizer at planting for beans, it will boost them to make more nitrogen for your maize. Beans are an excellent crop to grow between the maize, as the beans make nitrogen in the soil, which the maize can use as a fertilizer. You should still top dress your maize even if you are intercropping with beans. This has been such a wonderful shape up, and it goes to show that even the small piece of Shamba, you can grow enough food and make more money.
And I hope with all the expert advice John and his family have got, they will become excellent farmers.
John and family, thank you so much for having us here. Welcome. And for our viewers, we've come to the end of a lovely show here in Magamaga in Jinja. Until next time, see you on
Shamba Shape Up.
We've covered so much, and if you are like me, you may not remember it all.
Weather, diseases, new crops, type of crops, cows, goats, chickens, markets,
and so much more.
Shamba Shape Up has a service to help you, so you don't have to remember everything.
It is called the iShamba, and it can send information to help you know what to do on your farm and when to plant.
You can even call and talk to an expert if you get really stuck.
Just send an SMS with the word JOIN to 21606.
And you can shape yourself up anytime and anywhere. To receive all Shamba Shape Up leaflets, SMS the word ALL with your name and address to 30606. If you'd like to receive just the leaflet for this farm, SMS farmer, that's the name of the farmer, with your name and address to 30606. Shamba Shape Up is online. To learn more about today's topics or to watch any of our previous episodes, visit shambashapeup.com, select the episode and click play. You could also visit our Facebook page, Shamba Shape Up, to get more information, get involved in discussions, and also get a chance to enter some of our great competition to win great prizes. You can also find us on Twitter at Shamba Shape Up, or simply text 30606.